Well, I was right in the middle of editing part 7, part 8 of my Jackshaft video series, and I received an email from Mike, a friend, and he turned me on to this site. And this site includes this guy here and this guy here. They're showing you a bench display factory recommended installation on the FSQ adapter sleeve into a bearing that's just like what I'm putting in on the Jackshaft assembly. Alright, it's pretty hard to beat the video that they have. So I wanted you to have this link, check them out, and then get on back to my video. We're going to call it good. I got 2,800. We're within 50 thousandths of where we were. Alright, and I like that one right there. We're going to knock that one down. Alright, we tap into lock there. This one here. A little bit. I'm not going to pound these things in as radical as they did before. I just know that that's a good lock, and we got one other one on the other side there, and we'll rotate that around and lock it when we're set in the case here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get this one set in here now. We got that covered so it wouldn't get any grit or anything. We're going to want the grease fitting somewhere up on the top area. We'll be able to lift it and slide it. And one last little wipe in the lower case there. A little blowout. Make sure that we have no dust or dirt in there. And we're going to have to go up a little bit more. Had to get that shimmed right. I like that. we'll be able to go ahead and undo this, and we're going to get this cap here sitting on the end so it holds all these components together. And then we're going to go play with the bearing on the other side, and this one will be sealed up, and we'll be able to open it up again and make sure when we're double checking all of our length measurements. Alright, we cleaned out the top, and we gave the top bonnet here a little draw file, make sure that there was no high spots there. And we're just setting this on here for right now. Line it up with the dowels here. There we go. Alright, she's sitting all the way down. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get a couple nuts on there loosely, and we'll come back and we'll be double checking this on the length measurements. We're going to go get the other bearing on there now that we know this is sealed up and no dirt or nothing's going to get into it temporarily. Alright, we're going to do the same thing on this side here. Now, we're going to assemble this, and this is going to be all loose. In fact, actually, we're going to leave this one loose, and we're going to put it in the housing so that it can slide back and forth here, and we can rotate and everything else, because we're going to go ahead and assemble this up. Now, we have to finish taking apart the drive hub, replacing the rubber coupler, and then assemble that on here. Once we assemble that on there and we have those Allens tight, because we know that we have to have our wrench in there because we have interference between this ring here and the Allen wrench. So we're going to go ahead and unscrew this. We're going to get the bearing on here, and then we're going to put this together, lift it up, and we're going to set it in the housing for right now. And then we're going to go ahead and work on the coupler. Alright. Yeah, I was doing that right. You have to do, this is tapered, so it only goes on one way. I mean, you can't mess it up. Alright. The lock ring. And alright, now we're going to go ahead and the other laminate seal. That one seems tight. Alright. It will slide, and this is a fixed bearing, so once this is in place, this laminate seal doesn't move at all. Alright, we got pretty much everything cleaned up, ready to put the coupler on here. And there is my chisel mark from chiseling it this way here as close as I could, so the key went in just like that. Flush with the end. Keys should always be tapped and snug to the shaft. Slide freely into the bores. Alright, now here's the taper, and this is 100% cleaned up inside and outside. And I don't see any highs on here at all. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on there. It's flush with the end. Alright, we're going to go get the mate to it, and we should have room right there. Slip those bolts in. In fact, we may, I wonder if we can go ahead and right there. So I just want to put it back in the same exact spot it was, and we got one more Allen we got to hunt up and find. Alright, we found the other Allen, and we got some lock washers squared away that we were wondering where they went, and this is going to be our final assembly here. So we're going to throw some never sees on these so they stay nice and fresh threads. Don't need much. Alright, and this will slip over. See, this ring here has got to go on before the rubber boots, so we're just kind of double checking, making sure that we don't miss anything on the side. The liner rings in on that bearing. That's kind of why we put that all together, so that would be 100%. And alright, flush with the end. Alright, now we'll go ahead and we'll screw these in, and we can tighten and torque these at this time. Alright, our final tensioning on this taper lock was we used our Allen wrench here and our rawhide mallet, and we've gone around and around and around on this, and we've got equal amount of tension on each one of these. We know that we are firmer because it was just one hit that knocked everything loose there when this thing came apart, and this thing almost fell off. So I'm happy with the tension I have on here and the draw that I was able to put on this thing, and I'm satisfied that it's tight, and I'm going to call that finished. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull the caps on the bearing. We're going to go ahead and insert that lock ring or that spacer ring so that this is a fixed dimension here, and we're going to get the right amount of distance between here. Then we're going to go ahead and put the caps on and grease the bearings, and then we'll be able to assemble the rubber on the coupling, and then this thing is ready to rock and roll. Alright, we're getting ready to put the spacers in here, and they make these rings just like that, and Alright, we got the ring slid in around there, which was a little sticky once you get it down in there. We had customer come in, so we had to stop doing a little video here, and we're going to tighten up this nut spanner here and then lock that ring down, and then we should be pretty well set. We've measured across here, and I've already gotten the length that we want from pad to pad, and we're happy with that. So okay, I think we're going to go for that one right there and then call it. Just, alright, I like that. We get the punch, and we're going to push that one down there and lock that up. Let a little tension off of here so we can roll this around freely. Alright, this is the one we want to bend in. Alright, my customer supplied me with a grease there, and this is what we're going to put in our grease gun, and we're going to be squirting in there, and this is their choice of grease. Alright, we got the grease in our gun, and we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to lay a rag across here so it's not going click, 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 click or whatever. And we're going to go ahead and what we're doing is we're just pumping in some grease in between each one of these bearings in here, just because I don't want this thing to start dry at all, and it takes so forever to go through that zerk fitting at the cap there. One thing nice about having a flex hose on here. Okay, you get the picture. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish greasing both the bearings, and we'll get back to you. Alright, I went around, did both sides, rolled it 180, and then I did the top half that didn't have grease in it. But you can watch, when I roll this thing over, you can start watching the grease. It's down there, it's already gone around, but up here it hasn't actually made us run. But see how it kind of starts oozing out? Because the rollers are actually flattening out the grease, but it's pushing it in as much as it's pushing it out. And so I'm guaranteed that I got good coating of grease all the way around on all these bearings here. Alright, we're ready to put the bearing caps on, and we verified our measurements and everything, and we're 100% satisfied we got enough grease in here to have the first initial couple spins here. And we're also going to be shooting in some grease, making sure that we get through the grease zerk fitting itself onto the cap, and we get that started and get that flowing. Because it has an entry here, but it has other entries around this ring right here that go in and feed the bearing. So but it goes into that groove around the bearing first, and then in through the little holes into the inner bearing.